it when you guys don't tell me that we're live in 3, 2, 1. I like it when it's just like we're just chatting. It's like, wait, are we actually going right now?
It makes it a bit more authentic and natural.
That's it, yeah.
I was half expecting when you just said like the 3, 2, 1. I was expecting like a whole, stage performance thing. I was like, oh wait, no, like MC.
Yeah, just stand up and just like, yeah. So tonight, I just have to say, I've got the big dogs back. I've got Jasper and I've got Blake come back to hang out, and Blake's wearing an SAE shirt as well. Did you go to SAE? That's cool. Are you? Oh yeah. What episode are we up to? Now, how you guys been anyway? Quickly, like turn your mic up just before we actually get this. Yeah. How you guys been? Say hi.
Hi. Yeah, I've been good.
Have you been good? Yeah, Blake?
Yep.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, all right, yeah. There we go. All right, now we can start the episode. So tonight I have Miss Melissa Stevens coming on. And so I met you at the Brisbane Hotel.
We did.
Yes. And I have to say, it's like I was DJing, I was playing music, and I saw that you were wandering around. It's like, she either works here, she either owns the place, or she's a manager. What's going on here?
No, everyone just thought I was a creep. Like, literally all of the staff, they're walking up to me, and some of the security, like, when I was by myself, they're like, what are you doing?
Yeah, I was like, this girl is lost. But you...
Like, I'd never really done that sort of thing before. Like, I've gone into hotels and stuff and like, created content and know what I'm doing, but like not really wandering around a bar just by myself, and didn't really have briefs for it, so I was kind of like, I don't really know.
So what were you actually doing there?
So I work for a promo agency.
Agency?
Yeah, so they basically just asked me, can you go along to this this bar, and create content for their social media, like for their Instagram stories. So I just had to go along and just get like regular content, just showcasing the area, so just showing people on a night out, having fun, that sort of thing. So
that's pretty cool.
That's pretty much what it was.
It's not a bad little gig. So
yeah.
So you do that, but then you do a plethora of other things, right?
Too many things.
Too many things. So that's a good way to do it, though, right?
Yeah.
Gotta stay busy.
Exactly. Yeah.
So,
well, yeah. Like as we were saying, like I just like to try too many things, like to try a lot of different hobbies, skills, and just bring all these different skill sets into it at the end of the day. So
what else do you do then? So because you do like you do yoga, like you run yoga classes, right? Mm-hmm. You run a wellness retreat as well, or like you're trying to get into
the vision.
That's the vision. Yeah,
that's the end goal. So like at the moment I'm just doing outdoor yoga classes around Perth. So obviously as the summer's picking up, I just do my yoga classes every now and then. So I'm actually doing one tomorrow evening, sunset in Fremantle. So
what business is it, so we can pull it up and like try and promote it for you?
It's called Earth Conscious Yoga. So it's a bit of a mouthful. I regret making it that long.
That's a good name though. That's not bad.
I love the name, but it's just anytime I tell people, like, search it on Instagram, I'm like, right, let me just type it in for you. It's a bit of a mouthful.
That's fair though. But then, so how long have you been doing this for? How long have you been teaching yoga classes and everything for?
What year are we?
Yeah, we're almost 25, I think.
I think I did my training in like 2021. It was kind of during COVID, like as COVID was dying down a bit. So I think I always had this vision of wanting to go over to India or somewhere and do my yoga teacher training over there. But it was, during COVID, and I just had this very strong calling towards wanting to step into that and learn yoga, dive deeper into it. And everyone always asks me, like, what's the reason for you wanting to become a yoga teacher? Like, what's the inspiration behind that? And so many people in my course had this beautiful reason of, like, oh, I've been studying yoga for so long and it was just a natural progression, or, I had this injury and it brought me to yoga and it's this beautiful story. Whereas mine was, like, I had been doing a lot of yoga since I was a kid. Like, my mum used to take me to classes and I was a dancer, so I went in thinking, like, oh, this is just a fun stretch class. And then I started, like, progressing with it a bit more. But my initial reason for wanting to do the training course was I was working in bars at the time, and it was just so overwhelming, so overstimulating.
Yeah.
Like I say, my brain processing is a little bit slower sometimes, and like it was just too much. Like sometimes, at this one point we opened up a new bar and they just put me straight on cocktail station because I was the only one from the old bar who knew all the cocktails. So this one Saturday night I was the only one on cocktails, just had about 10-15 in the next 5 minutes to make, and I was just slammed. I just couldn't keep up with it. And I remember going home that evening, just sitting in the back of the car, just processing at the end of the shift and going, I need something slower. Like, so I literally Googled what's a job for slow people, which sounds
Can we Google that? Let's pull that up. Just out of curiosity, I'm curious
I
now.
genuinely Googled that, and the first thing that popped up was yoga teaching. I wonder if it still is the top search. But you know, when I looked at it, I was like, that makes sense.
What was it against? It was work for slow people.
Jobs for slow people.
Jobs for slow people.
What?
For slow people.
As in, like, you know, slower processing. Like, my brain was just not active enough for a busy bar situation.
All
I
right.
wonder, is it librarian?
Librarian, yeah. I can
Yoga,
see
there
that.
you go, number 5.
Yeah, number 5. Yoga for lives, yeah.
It's
Damn.
still there.
A virtual assistant. As a virtual assistant. Yeah, okay, yeah, well, yeah. Very cool.
So, yeah, it's like a stupid story, but, you know, it's
Well,
what
if it-
brought me there.
If it works, right? Like,
Yeah, exactly. And obviously, like, I had experience with it. It wasn't just completely out of the
That's
blue.
it.
But yeah, I just thought, you know what? Why not? Why don't I give it a go? So
and then, so did you have like the social media and like the digital kind of nomad sort of stuff already intertwined then, or was it before or after, or?
yeah. So when I finished school, I just developed an interest for photography. So yeah, I went along to uni because my parents basically just said, look, if you haven't got another backup option, if you don't have anything else to do or a job, just go to uni, just pick something you're interested in, which, bless them, like, I really appreciate them for encouraging me to do that. Like, it was beautiful, and that's obviously what they thought was the best.
Yeah.
But in hindsight, I feel like I definitely should have just started traveling, just gone on a gap year like everyone does.
Yeah.
To sort of figure out what it is I want, rather than just going, photography, I'm interested in that, I'll do a course in that. Because looking back on it, I'm like, well, photography is definitely something that I don't need to go and pay so much money on a university course for.
That's
I can
it.
do another cheaper course. And I was also learning a lot more that year by going on sets. Like, I was going and working with other photographers, just going on shoots, just being like an assistant photographer, learning so much more from that. And I think that's kind of what taught me, made me realise, like, why am I doing this? Why am I
But see, isn't that where it's so interesting how it's like a lot of jobs these days say that they want actual experience in the industry first, but then how do you get the experience if you've just gone and got the degree or you've gone and got the diploma or whatever, right? But then going actually on sets, as you said, like, you learnt so much more from actually being there in the moment, learning on the job, then
That's the thing.
But it's just how some people see it though as well. Like, and I completely agree. It's like you got to be there, like in the moment when you go and try and learn these different things. But then so with photography and stuff like that, so like you dived into that, and so you went off to uni. Which uni did you go to?
I went to Curtin Uni.
Yeah, very
and
nice. Yeah,
I just didn't
so
really
did I.
enjoy
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
I wasn't really a big fan. Like, I just wasn't really connecting with anyone. Like, as we were mentioning before, I was just trying to talk to people and make friends, because I thought, you know what, like, you look at university and college and all the movies and stuff,
That's
and
it.
you hear other people talking about, like, oh, my friendship group and such.
Yeah.
And I still had friends from school, but I was thinking, you know, this would probably make university a bit more interesting, or perhaps I would enjoy it a bit more if I actually had friends on campus. And I just wasn't really clicking with anyone. I was trying to talk to people, no one was interested. So I just thought, what's the point? Like, I'm not really gaining a lot from the course. I'm not really connecting with people. So
Yeah.
what's the point in being here? So
Just quickly, sorry, is Spotify playing? Where's all this hip hop coming from?
I just thought that was part of it.
Yeah. Yeah. There we go. That's better. I was thinking, like, we're trying to have a conversation and got all this, like,
I just thought that was part of it.
yeah, no, sorry, like, that's not the
That's
atmosphere I wanted to create.
Play some 432 hertz.
Yeah, that's it. Oh, I'm so sorry about that. It's just sometimes I find that, so when I've got lyrics in the background, I have like trouble concentrating. It needs to be
Yeah.
like background stuff.
Yeah.
But you know, that's awesome though. So then with doing that, but then so you found the passion through photography. So where did it lead you? Like, what have you done? What have you achieved using that skill?
With that. Well, basically, after doing that year, I just realised I wanted to travel. So I just got out and
So you did the first full year at Curtin and then and then got out.
Yeah, I did
That's
photography
fair.
and journalism,
Yep.
which was interesting. I definitely learnt a few things from here, or learnt what I do and don't want, which,
Mm-hmm.
you know, is as in everything. Like, I'm glad and grateful for everything I've done, because it's taught me either a lesson or something that I don't want. So
Yeah.
I'm appreciative for it. But yeah, after that I just decided I want to travel, so my friend and I, we booked a 1-month trip around Southeast Asia, which very quickly turned into 2 months, which very quickly turned into about 2 years. So
Wow. Well, your parents just like, you coming home yet? Like, what's going on?
yeah, kind of.
Whereabouts? Can we pull it up? So whereabouts in Southeast Asia did you go?
Yeah, so I think, well, first of all, because I travelled a lot growing up. Like, my dad works for British Airways as a pilot, so obviously, like, we had a lot of travel as
Very
kids.
cool. That's yeah, you're pretty lucky with that.
Yeah, I was very lucky.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I travelled a lot, but I'd never really solo travelled by myself. So I went with my friend. We went to, I think we started in Singapore, and then we went to Thailand, Indonesia, where else? Hong Kong,
Yeah.
back to Thailand again. And yeah, after 1 month or after 2 weeks, we just looked at each other and we said, this is not long enough, we've got to extend it. So we
That's
just kept
fair,
going.
yeah.
Yeah, so I did that for a couple of months, just backpacking Southeast Asia, not really knowing what I was doing. And then from there, I went on a website called Au Pair World.
Au Pair World.
Yeah, do you know what au pairs are?
Aren't they like nannies almost? Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. So I actually got to live my Maria von Trapp dreams from The Sound of Music.
Is this one here?
Yes.
So you got to live your what dreams from The Sound
You
of
know
Music?
Maria von Trapp, the nanny from The Sound of Music?
Okay, yeah.
Have you seen it?
I have watched it when I was a kid. I haven't
Okay.
seen it in a long time.
She's like the nanny, the main character in that.
Yep.
But yeah, Sound of Music is set in Salzburg in Austria, this beautiful little town there. And I saw that there was a family looking for an au pair in Salzburg, so I just thought, perfect, I'll go and give it a go. And I got so lucky, because you definitely hear some horror stories of au pairing and this sort of thing.
Okay.
But I got super lucky. I had the loveliest family ever. I still contact them now. And I basically just went over to live with them for 2-3 months, I think, just in the summer. And they just adopted me into their family. Like,
That's amazing.
Yeah, it was really nice. I just got to look after the kids, just pick them up from school, just play with them in the afternoons. I didn't really have to prepare meals or anything as well. And then on the weekends, they said you can either have your weekends free or you can just come on adventures with us. And we went hiking in the mountains. They took me to Germany a few weekends. So
That's incredible.
yeah,
That's awesome.
So it was really nice.
Yeah, okay.
It was a lovely experience, and that was I guess my first experience of living in a different country, long term, learning a different culture, a bit of the language, and just really learning what it's like to travel and just be abroad properly, I guess.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, that was fun.
And then is that where you kind of like, because from doing that you weren't working then, right?
No, so you get a bit of pocket money through au pairing, so it gives you a little bit, but not too much.
Yep.
But no, I did go on to work from there. I jumped from there to Orlando and Florida, where I worked at Disney World.
You worked at Disney World in Orlando, Florida. Can we pull up that? Oh my god, that's amazing.
See what I mean? My CV is wild.
Yeah, so
it's hectic.
what's that like? Like, so you just were in Austria and you're like, I'm going to apply for a working visa in America.
Yeah, well, I actually applied for it before I went to Austria, and then
Okay.
when I got to Austria, I got the acceptance email. So I did an interview when I did it at ECU, actually. They came and did interviews here. So I applied to be a character performer. So I...
What character were you?
I was friends with Pluto, Eeyore, Rafiki, and the Country Bears.
You were friends with, so you were actually swapping between those costumes then?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, exactly. So that was fun.
Yeah, that would have been amazing. Well, so the job is like you just get into the costume, walk around, just like wave and say hi to kids?
Pretty much. Without spoiling any dreams or whatever, I would hang out with those characters, go and meet people, do little meet and greets, and then I really wanted to be like in the parade or the stage shows at some point, but I was an absolute idiot and I forgot that I'm on a visa and you can only actually get this particular visa once. So they gave us the option to extend our program, which was 6 months, for a year. And I thought, I really want to stay here, I really want to do it, but I also want to go over and live in London for a year and go to Canada a bit first. So I'll do that now, and then I'll come back and reapply next year, or like the year after.
Damn, you just kept travelling.
Yeah, but I realised after that I definitely shouldn't have done that, and I should have extended then, because they said to me, oh, if you extend, we'll train you up for one of the shows, and to be a stilt walker in a couple of the other shows as well. And I went, oh, I'm not going to extend now, I'll come back and do it later. But then I realised, oh, bugger, I can't do it. So.
Yeah, it's only a once-off thing.
Yeah, and like it was
Wow.
still an amazing experience. And I got so much out of that.
The experiences, the people you met, like everything, like, and to be able to jump into Pluto Pluto, like,
Exactly,
into a
yeah.
costume.
Oh, I
Yeah.
loved it. It was so much fun.
And then
Most magical place on earth. To a degree.
how big actually is it though? So because I've never been to Disney World ever.
Disney World is huge. It's
So-
the biggest one.
But this is Disneyland. This is Disney World. Though.
This is Disney World, yeah. So this is Orlando. It's the biggest one. The original one is in California. That's
Okay.
just the Magic Kingdom and I can't remember one of the other parks. But Disney World in Orlando is huge. They've got Magic Kingdom, which is one big park in itself. Then they've got Epcot, which is like the around the world park. They have Hollywood Studios, which is where they have a lot of like movie sets sort of thing and like behind the scenes of how the movies run. And what's the last one? Animal Kingdom.
Animal
So they've
Kingdom.
got the animals there as well. Which
That's
is really
incredible.
cool,
Wow,
so-
right?
Yeah,
so
and
they
they're
got
all
literally
huge
everything.
parks. Yeah.
Yeah, wow.
And they've got 2 water parks.
Mm-hmm.
And of course all the resorts, Disney Springs, like the big shopping dining complex. So it's massive. Like it's really big.
So then from here, then you've bounced to London, England.
Yeah, so I au paired again.
Okay.
And again got really lucky with a family there. Lived there for a year
Yeah.
in London. And then I came back to Australia the following year. And
What year was this?
this must have been, so I left London in start of 2019, I think.
Yeah.
So 2019 I came back here and I jumped on a circus tour that travelled around Australia to remote areas.
A circus tour.
Yeah.
What circus?
I realise how like ridiculous all of this sounds, like saying it out loud.
No. This is cool. Like we've had performing clowns on stuff like that before, like who've done kids
Yeah.
parties and all sorts of stuff. Like,
I mean, just like how rogue, like all the different
but
things.
it's a good
and,
thing though. Like you've just,
saying my CV out.
but you've just gone off and had fun with this. Like you've experienced life.
That's it, and that's what it comes down to. Like, you know, it's all fair and good having one stable job, having stability, and having one thing that you know you can rely on, and having a stable income, which is great. And if you find something that you enjoy and you want to do forever, go for it. Like, that's amazing. And, you know, I've definitely found things like yoga and hosting retreats and stuff I feel like I definitely want to continue and I really thrive in. Like, I enjoy it. But it's also so much fun, like having different things, having different experiences, learning different skills, trying this. Like there are so many things on my bucket list I want to tick off. Like I've now ticked off working for Disney. I've lived the Sound of Music dream in Austria. I've been a backpacker in Southeast Asia. Like all these different experiences I've had. Been on a traveling circus. So it's just fun. Yeah, adding that to
What was the name of the travelling circus?
It was like, it wasn't massive, it was just me and my friend. So basically she was she still is a professional circus performer.
Okay.
She's mainly like big on TikTok and stuff now, but you should get her on the podcast actually.
Okay, yeah,
I'll give you
definitely.
her name afterwards. That'd be really
Yeah, no,
interesting.
definitely. Yes, please. Yeah.
But yeah, she just needed someone to travel with her in the van, and
okay.
basically, like the guy who was running the business, he just said, "Do you know anyone who will travel with you and has circus experience?" And she was like, "Well, my friend Mel, she's not really trained in circus, but she's a performer. She's done dance. She's done a little bit of like circus tricks. We can train her up quickly." So she just messaged me and asked me, and this sounds like really privileged, but I was literally like, this was while I was au pairing in London, but in the school holidays, the family flew me over to the south of France, and we were in a chalet on top of the hill, like a beautiful villa, and I was
Okay.
laying there having like a mental breakdown about what the hell am I doing with my life right now. Didn't know what I was doing, where I was going next, and I was just having one of those moments, probably on my period, I don't know. And as I was just laying there going like, what the hell, she called me and she was like, "Do you want to come back to Perth in January and do a circus tour around the country with me?" I was like, "Sign me up, let's go." So
What an adventure!
exactly, I was like, "This
That's
has
amazing.
worked out.
Yeah.
This is why I trust the universe. I always trust that, you know, when I'm in a low point, something is always going to work out at some point. Like eventually, I just have to trust."
So then, where did you go around Australia then?
So we started in Adelaide.
Yeah.
And we flew to Adelaide, picked up the van there, and we drove from Adelaide all through. It was mainly through rural areas. So it was going from schools in big cities to then a school right in the middle of nowhere with literally 20 kids from kindergarten to year 12. It was insane.
Like proper remote.
Yeah, so there was this one school that we drove from. I think it was, we were driving from somewhere in the middle of nowhere. We just drove along this road for probably a solid 4 hours. There was nothing but just kangaroos on the side of the road. And then all of a sudden the Google Maps just says, turn right in 20 metres and your destination is here. And we're going, where? And then literally we turned right and we went, oh, it's right there. And then, you know, so we performed. There was about 20 kids or so. They loved it because, you know, they're not used to having this sort of thing in those areas. They absolutely adored it.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the day, we pack up, we leave, we jump in the van and put on Google Maps, and it goes, right, turn right and keep driving straight for 6 hours, and then you hit Byron Bay. And as soon as we pull out of this school, we're literally back straight on that main road, and I'm like, where are these kids living? Where did they come from? Like, it was right in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah. And there's no shops, there's no this, no there's
there
no...
must have been somewhere.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell you where. It was just middle of nowhere, so...
Yeah, it's interesting with that, because there are, like, you know, there are places where they have to drive, like, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 50 minutes, just to even get to the closest IGA or something.
2 hours.
Yeah, or even 2 hours, that's it.
Yeah.
Country life, right?
Exactly, yeah.
So you did that, and you did that for how long?
Maybe 4 months or so.
Okay.
Yeah, it was the start of 2019, and then I think from there I think I au paired again briefly in Sydney, then went travelling Southeast Asia again a bit, then came back to Australia, did a road trip up the East Coast with a bunch of backpackers I met, which was amazing.
Just kept travelling and travelling and travelling.
And again, here's another story of like really trusting that everything's going to work out, like trusting the universe, is we were in our van and we just rented it. And one of my friends, I think he like flung his towel over the curtain rail in the van, slammed the door shut and ended up breaking the door handle. So the door didn't shut. So of course we're all driving through just middle of nowhere for hours on end again. And my friend's in the back of the van literally has to have his arm out the front window
and holding
on as we're driving.
Yeah.
It was insane. So we're just driving along there with a broken van. Everything was falling apart. And we ended up calling the company and they said, right, we've got a replacement part for you. It won't be there for a week and you've got to wait in Mackay. And I don't know if you know Mackay or like much of the geography of the East Coast.
Can we look up Mackay? How do you spell it?
Mackay.
Mackay.
Honestly, I still don't know much about it, to be honest. It's a beautiful place, but it was, compared to where we were going or what we wanted to do, it was just kind of a small town. There wasn't really anything, and we just wanted to get to the Whitsundays. Well, we didn't see that part of Mackay, that's for sure. We just saw the town. Yeah, we didn't go very far. But yeah, we basically had to sit in this town waiting for a week, and there's 10 backpackers, and we're all thinking, what do we do here for a week? There was a bowling alley, there was a restaurant, there was a botanical garden, and we thought, we've got a week to kill, what do we do? Mm-hmm. And I said, I know my friends from another circus. Do you know the Ashton Circus?
Ashton, yeah. Okay, can we look up the Ashton? That's when you said the circus, I thought you meant the Ashton.
No, it wasn't them.
Because they've been here for a long time, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Like, they've been around for a while.
Oh, they have been. But yeah, I met them the year before when I was working at Adventure World. They performed with us, so I got to know them quite well. And I just thought on a whim, I was like, my friends in the circus are travelling up and down the East Coast at the moment. I wonder if they've got if they need anyone to set up their circus tent, if they happen to be in the area. Now, they could have been in Victoria, Sydney, Melbourne, anywhere. And as I said that, I looked on, because I had Snapchat at the time, I looked on there, and my friend, like one of the guys in the circus, he just posted something about being in Mackay. Like, he just literally posted it, it was a signpost saying Mackay, and I was like, no way. So I messaged him, and I was like, you guys don't happen to need about 10 backpackers to set up a circus tent or anything at all, do you, for the next few days? And he went, we were literally about to walk into a hostel and ask for 10 strong backpackers to come and help us set up a circus tent in Mackay. And you are joking.
Wow. Interesting.
So
okay.
it just worked out perfectly, and I was like, you know what, every time something just falls apart or something feels terrible,
puts it back together. It just keeps going.
It happens. I like, obviously that doesn't happen all the time, like I wish it did, but you know, the majority of the time. But it's just having that trust and that faith, you know, something's always going to happen. It's always
important to have faith, honestly. Yeah. But then, so from there as well, because like, you just keep doing so much. So like, you've done that over in Queensland, and you bumped into Ashton Circus, so then...
Yeah, so we stayed there for a week and then continued travelling the East Coast. Then I think I moved to Melbourne. That's where I started my bartending career. So I did that for a while until COVID hit. Then COVID hit, so I moved back to WA. Stayed the last few years in WA doing bartending. Then had the epiphany realisation of, I can't be doing this anymore, I need to do yoga. Yeah, and then when I got that yoga teaching qualification, basically the next year, so start of last year, I decided, right, the world's opened up again, so I moved up to Exmouth, lived there for a few months, travelled Southeast Asia for the next pretty much year. Went to Europe for a little bit this year. And now I'm back here, so...
And then it just keeps happening. It's just so much happening and this and that.
Yeah,
so.
That's why when you said, like, give me a bio, I was like, where do I start? What do I do? Who am I?
Well, see, like, I wanted to say it to you, but I didn't know how to say it right in a way. But, like, I've had a guest come on. His name's Gengar. And he wanted to be identified as a legendary Pokemon.
As a what?
As a legendary Pokemon. So, like, his whole bio was about him being, like, a Pokemon and people were trying to catch him.
Right,
and train him up and stuff. And he's a legendary Pokemon, this and that. It was very interesting. But
I need to work on my bio.
Yeah, he's very well renowned in the scene.
Yeah.
So then obviously as soon as people saw, oh, Gengar's going on, he could write whatever he wants because people know it's all Gengar's. So he's doing his thing. But then, so you were saying as well before, like, you tied like social media and like Airbnb and like, it was like, so what were you working, like, other than doing the au pair stuff, how else were you, like, making it work in overseas and traveling and doing this and doing that?
Yeah, so that's why it's handy, like, stopping some places every now and then just to try and find work. So I've done things such as the au pairing, working in bars, working at Disney. What else have I done? I worked in a couple of yoga studios over in Thailand as well.
Okay,
around Southeast Asia. So yeah, I've done a few things here and there. But yeah, the social media thing. So I haven't really done too many paid gigs, to be honest. I've done a few things here and there where they've paid me for it. But a lot of the time, well, I realised at the start of this year, a good hack for travelling and saving a bit of money, like budgeting, is to reach out to hotels, resorts, retreats, even hostels, just accommodation places. And if you've got a skill set, like I feel like I'm not too bad at photography and videography, and if you offer that to them, show them what you've got, like I show them a portfolio. So I spend a lot of my time, start of the year I lived in Koh Tao in Thailand.
In where? Koh Tao?
Koh Tao.
Can we pull that up? Koh Tao in Thailand. Okay.
Yeah, it's Kohtao. It's a little island.
Do you have your portfolio? Can we have a look at that as well at all?
Where is it?
Because then, so like, because we're thinking about doing an event next year.
Yeah.
And then we're doing that event next year. It's like, that's where I thought, like, if you've done social media stuff, then have a chat.
Definitely.
So you were there, Koh Tao. So then.
Yes. Oh, my favourite little island. It's lovely. I'm just finding my portfolio.
Oh my god, that looks incredible.
Yeah. It's actually, ironically, I never actually went to that little island, which is like the main advertising picture of Koh Tao. I never even made it over there.
Where were you? You just like
I don't know.
on the other side?
I just got into the swing of just living. Like, I kind of, when you're backpacking for so long and you just end up jumping around all the time, I just got so over it. And I went, you know what, it's beautiful, like, meeting so many people and seeing so many places, but I also crave community and connection.
That's
and,
fair, yeah.
I wanted to create a community, a bit of a base, and really be able to properly see places. And that's what was amazing about when I was au pairing, for instance, in London, Sydney, and Austria, like Salzburg, was because instead of just rushing around going tourist destination, let's see this, I actually got to see, like, the lesser known things and just the reality of life.
Yeah.
Just the smaller things.
That's where a lot of people don't get to see the actual reality of life.
Yeah.
You know, exactly that. People just go to touristy things. Like next year I'm going to go to Europe and I'm going with a friend who was born in Italy.
Yeah,
and I want her to show me where she grew up, the things she did, how she did it, this, that, whatever. Mm-hmm. Just like, instead of just going, oh, I'm just going to go to that big fountain in Italy and go to Rome and do this and do that.
Big fountain? Yeah,
that
one?
Yeah, most of them, I don't know. I'm going to start looking into Italy in January. I've never been, so I've got a lot to look into.
But that's good, yeah, if you can go with someone local. And I feel like sometimes even if you are travelling with locals or going to visit someone and you ask them what to see or show me around, they'll still initially go like, oh, what are the top tourist destinations? And like, I'm a culprit of it sometimes here. If people coming to Perth, they're like, what should I see? I'm like, oh, Rottnest Island, Fremantle.
That's it, right? Yeah.
But, sometimes I try to go, no, I'm going to be a bit creative and show them like specific local spots as well, because that's probably what they want to see as well as the tourist stuff.
Exactly.
Like actually, because a lot of the time if you go to these places, it's like, realistically, are you seeing that country? Are you seeing that town, that city, that island, whatever it is?
No.
Or are you just seeing like a westernized version of it?
Yeah.
And that's the sad reality of places like Koh Tao. Like, as beautiful as it is still quite busy, and it's definitely grown a lot, because I first went there in 2019 and it was still like quite popular and touristy, but it's got a lot more touristy recently. And as much as I love it and it is beautiful, and there are definitely places you can go off the beaten track there, which is where I used to just stay. Like, I just hid in the jungle the whole time I was there. You definitely see a lot of people who go there, they just check into the hostel, they're drinking, they're partying, they'll go down to Fishbowl, which is just like the classic bar that everyone goes to, get pissed, go to the restaurants, go to, the top tourist destinations, and then leave. And it's like, oh, what did you do on Koh Tao? Oh, I saw this. All the fancy restaurants. And it's like, well, did you see the actual side of Koh Tao? Did you meet any locals? Did you actually see what it's like to live there? Not that it's like the best living place, I guess. But yeah.
But that's it. A lot of people just like skim across the top, and actually instead of diving into and delving into actually what it is like and what the culture's like and everything.
Exactly.
But so then you were here then. So then when you were here, like, what were you just traveling?
Yes. So that's when I kind of got to the point of, like, I'd rather stay somewhere, base myself for a while. So I just wanted a base. So I, stayed in Koh Tao for a couple of months. Ended up meeting a few friends there who were trying to get more into UGC content creation. UGC? It stands for User Generated Content.
Okay.
So it's, how you get the influencer marketing, influencer content creation. Mm-hmm. It's similar to that, but it's instead of you posting it on your social media account, because, I've got, 2,000 followers or something. I'm not like 100 million followers. That's more like influencer stuff. Whereas UGC is where you allow smaller content creators who don't necessarily have like a bigger influence. You allow them who perhaps have photography skills, videography skills. You don't even need to have that many skills, to be honest, but it's just showcasing like real authentic experiences with a product, service, location or something.
Okay.
So yeah, it's kind of like reviews. If you're wanting to buy a product, go somewhere, you'll jump online, have a look at the reviews, TripAdvisor or whatever. It's kind of creating that a bit more.
Yep.
So I don't know if you've seen sometimes like an Instagram advert might pop up and it's just a general person just sat there talking to the phone, like up to the camera, like, I've just got this product and this is amazing, I've got it's a whatever it is, just explaining how it is, how they incorporate it into their daily life, and it's just very natural and authentic. So that's I think that's what a lot of brands are looking more towards.
And so you started diving into that then a little bit?
Kind of, yeah. My friend was more looking into UGC, that sort of thing, so I kind of started looking into it as well, and that's when we had the realization of, I've got a drone, I do photography, I do videography, I enjoy doing that travel content. Why don't we start pitching this to hotels? And then so we started building up our portfolios there. We pitched to a few hotels. We just said, we don't really need anything in exchange. We just want to build our portfolio. Do you mind if we just have access to a room for the afternoon or for the night or something? And they just do that. And then we'd, of course, give them the content. And we now have a portfolio. So we spent a couple of months in Koh Tao just doing that, reaching out to places after that as well. So at the end of our time in Koh Tao, we went across to Kopangan, which is the next island.
How do you spell it? Sorry, Kopangan?
KOH space PHANGAN.
This place does sound amazing.
Yeah, that top.
But then, there you go. So were you, when you were there, you were kind of like, you were building the portfolio, but did you, instead of just one night, because you were paying to stay there, right?
Yeah, so I had my own rental. Like, okay. I had my own bungalow that I stayed at, which was super cheap. It was like $8 a night, maybe.
Wow, okay.
I lived with geckos. It was cute. Like, they used to shit on the floor, so that was a bit annoying. I had a little pet cat as well. It was literally, this was proper like living in the jungle.
Yeah, that's amazing.
It was a cool house, actually. The guy was from Frio. The guy was literally a local from Frio. He moved over there when he was younger, though. And we just sat there having a chat for so long, realising that we, we're both from the same place. And it was very sustainably minded as well. Like, he called it Bottle House, and he'd built this whole place out of recycled glass and alcohol bottles.
Wow.
So it was actually really clever. Like, everything there was recycled.
That's cool. That's very, very cool.
So, because, that's what I'm very big in, like, trying to promote sustainability and ethical things. Hence the name Earth Conscious Yoga.
Mm-hmm. It's the way to do it. It's the way to do it.
So I stayed there. I was paying that for the couple months. But then in the meantime, just to build our portfolio, we just said, if you'll give us a night stay or just the afternoon to create content, it was perfect. But yeah, when it came time to leave there, I went across to Kopangan because there is a retreat centre there that I went to a few times, absolutely loved. We reached out to them and they said, come along and we'll give you a day pass to do all the yoga classes, use the pool, have the buffet. They have the most amazing vegan buffet there. It's so good. Oh my god, I'd just go there for that. Purely just go there for that. Highly recommend. But yeah, we went over there, created content for them, put together a few reels, videos and stuff, sent them through to them, and just got free access to that. So if they had accommodation available, we would have stayed over, but it was busy season, so we couldn't.
So when you say like reels and like the content, so like what type of content were you creating? And like, so were you utilizing your drone to get the footage as well, and all sorts?
Yeah. So we kind of tried to incorporate everything into it. It was more just, as I said, user generated content. It's kind of just, you want it to look professional, but not like super professional. You want it to be relatable as well.
Yeah.
So we'd get a variety of different bits of content, and it was more just showing the user's experience. The guest's experience there at the resort. So when we went to the yoga retreat center, it was more just showcasing, you have yoga classes, you have a buffet that you can dine at, you have the sauna, the hot pool, the swimming pool, the accommodation, just showcasing the grounds. And then sometimes we did a bit of like voiceovers and just saying like a day in the life. So it's kind of just marketing, advertising videos that they can use on their profile, and we don't necessarily need to post on our own. So, like, I still do post it on mine.
Were they just straight up like, yes, we'll take that. That's a great idea. Yeah, wow. Yeah.
Much.
So I mean, any promo is free promo, right?
Exactly.
And then you're getting something out of it. They're getting something out of it.
Yeah.
And it's all just a handshake, kind of like. It's a win-win situation.
Exactly, that's it. Yeah, everyone gets something out of it at the end of the day.
Yeah.
There's no real like money exchange, so it doesn't really get too controversial. But I have done a few like paid things, but obviously it gets a bit more technical there. You have to look at exactly what you're offering, exactly what pitch they want, what they're going for. So I did one down south actually at the start of the year. That was a paid one, and I did like I made like a vision board. I said, okay, let me know exactly what the idea is that you're going for. What do you want to focus on? So she said, I want to focus on like a romantic couple stay experience sort of thing. I also want more of like the outside area, the outdoors. So I just got a bunch of my friends who were living down south, and we just got them there and kind of did a focus on that. So just got a couple of my friends who were a couple. We did some nice outdoorsy couple photo shoots and such. And yeah, wrote up exactly like what she wanted and tried to focus on getting all that content for them. So
yeah. Wow. Okay.
And then we got a 2-night stay out of that. So that was good.
Yeah,
that was a win-win.
Right.
So, we had a little birthday party from one of my friends and had a movie night together. So it was really cute, actually. It was really nice.
No, it's very nice then. Yeah. So then with that, like, was it quite difficult to get the content? Was it quite streamlined? Just like, there were no really hiccups or bumps or anything? It was just like, let's just get it done? And
yeah, so I've never really had a blueprint for it because I kind of just figured this out myself. I remember when I first called the woman and she agreed to it, I was a bit shocked. I was a bit like, where do I go from here? I've never actually had like a proper one before. I don't really know what I'm doing. It's my first time. But yeah, there weren't really any issues. I kind of just focused on getting as much content as I could, so I would just turn the camera on, just leave it rolling, which I've learned in hindsight I shouldn't do that because then I've got hours of content to edit.
And then you got to find the good stuff, right?
Exactly, and I hate doing that. So I've learned from that, no, don't do that. Just press record when you're ready to record and stop when you're finished.
That's fair, that's fair.
That's part of the learning process. Like, you have to do these things to learn, so...
Yeah.
So I just focused on, I made like a bit of a plan. So when I first got in there, I ran around the area just having a look at, okay, what outside areas have we got, best time of day to shoot. Like, we wanted a sunset sort of thing out with the horses outside, so we made sure we went for a walk at sunset. We did a bit of like baking just to utilize or showing what the guests have access to a kitchen. So we did that earlier in the day when we didn't necessarily need to focus on the outside golden hour lighting.
So
I kind of made up a bit of a plan of like, there's a beautiful window that I want to showcase, so I made sure that I got some shots of me sitting there just doing some crochet, doing some journaling in the windowsill, and just made up a plan and then aimed to get those shots. So
yeah, very cool. And then like when it came to the editing and like trying to get the product like refined, did it take quite a while as well, or
not too long, maybe like a few hours, because first of all, like, I'll go through and I'll choose all the best shots, and then I'll just say, right, okay, I'll send you through 40 images, for instance, you choose 10 of the best images that you want, and then I'll edit them. So I'll make sure like I watermark them, send them through, they choose, I edit. And then in terms of reels, I just say, okay, I'll give you 3 reels, and I kind of just have free reign on that. Like, obviously take into consideration what their vision is, what they want to focus on, and then I'll just edit them in that sort of way to focus on that.
No, very cool. Yeah, because that's why I guess like you do have to have like you have to have a close connection with the client.
Yeah.
backwards and forwards communication, being able to actually like
Yeah.
sort it out, make it happen in a way.
Exactly, and that was, I guess the first one where it was a bit more serious. The other ones around Thailand have been a bit more just like, oh, we just want to build our portfolio,
Yeah.
and they kind of just went, do your thing, have fun, whatever.
Yeah, okay.
Whereas, this one, and then from there I did one in Portugal, so I went to Portugal in June, July, I think.
Oh wow, okay.
So I found this. It was beautiful, actually. It was in Sintra, which is
Sintra?
it's like an hour from Lisbon, I think.
Okay.
It's like a fairy tale village. It's
Can we
absolutely
Google that?
beautiful.
That
Yes,
sounds
please do.
pretty
You
cool.
need to see the pictures of it. It's very different to what's currently on the screen.
So how do you
Complete
spell it?
opposite. Sintra.
Sintra.
Or Sin. Close. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, it's a really beautiful place. So it's just full of castles and incredible architecture.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so it's a really, really nice place. And just walking around there just felt like I was in a fairy tale. And the Airbnb I found, again, just felt very like... How do you describe it? It just felt like I was in a fairy tale and like a castle sort of Airbnb, so...
What drove you to go to Portugal? Just because you wanted to, or?
Yeah, funny story actually. So me and all my friends down south, we have this vision of, because we're very much just like hate the 9 to 5 and hate the way society's going. We want to create our own commune. So
Lovely. Yeah, okay.
So we've been researching. I don't know if it'll ever happen, but this is our vision. We're like, add this to the commune ideas list.
All right.
But we just like the idea of just being able to self-sustain ourselves, live off the land, and just obviously, like, I've got my skills as a yoga instructor. I want to create wellness retreats. So if one day I have my own property, then I could create wellness retreats there and be more like self-sustainable and everything. So
It's a good way to do it, yeah, 100%.
Exactly,
yeah.
and it's like the community as well, like bringing people together, because that's what's lacking in society at the moment. Like people
I
are just
do agree.
so disconnected from both themselves and from everyone around them.
That's it, yeah.
So the idea is if we just focus on community more, bring people together and actually utilize those skills, like money doesn't always have to be involved. If someone's got an orange tree, someone's got a cherry tree, why don't we just exchange?
Just help each other, yeah.
It doesn't always have to be monetary.
It's unfortunate how everyone's become so lost in their mobile phones, and they're just like, they don't connect with society anymore.
No.
It's just like how you said, it's like it's just so disconnected. Everything is literally just on the palm of the hand. And it's really sad that it's like it's all about likes and generating views and content and this and that. But I wish people were just more connected like they used to be. But oh well.
Exactly.
There's not much we can do about it, unfortunately.
And that's the biggest struggle I have, like enjoying the process of creating content and having to like have social media for my own business and try to like reel in customers from that, which obviously is one of the only ways or the biggest ways to do it these days. It just frustrates me no end, because I'm like, I don't want to constantly be on my phone. I wish sometimes I could just pick it up, throw it in the river, never look at technology again. But obviously it's like finding that balance.
It's a
and
necessary
needing to
evil.
use it.
And that's what's so
Exactly.
unfortunate. It's like, back in the day it used to be newspapers.
Yeah.
You used to advertise in the newspaper what's going on in your local community.
Mm-hmm.
But now it's like, okay, what's going on in Massachusetts? You could easily just figure out what's going on in a completely different place. The world's become too connected, in my opinion.
Connected yet disconnected.
Yeah.
All at the same time, so...
That's it.
Yeah.
And who knows what's going to happen. I mean, they passed the bill, right, in Australia, that all the anyone under the age of 16 cannot go on social media anymore.
I heard something about that.
Oh, it's
Wait,
bad. But at the same
how-
time, it's good. But at the same time, it's bad
How are they
because...
going to monitor it?
So you have to type some sort of ID. You cannot log onto the internet without typing your driver's license number into it.
Stop.
So the thing is, right, is obviously back in the day, or even right now, is that if you start walking around, parading around saying you're going to make a bomb or something like that, they will find you. Of course, like the AFP will be onto it because they're already listening.
can track
But
everything.
now logging in using your driver's license, they can already see what you're posting on the internet, what you're saying and this and that.
Mm-hmm.
But now you got to log in.
Yeah.
And so they kind of... So look, they've done it. And they kind of just like pushed it through.
That's crazy. Yeah, I was wondering how that was going to work.
Yeah.
It's
so you have to...
insane how much can be monitored and like...
That's it, right? But this is the social... hopefully this is actually going to put people a bit more into the real world.
Yeah.
Because TikTok is going to be banned as well.
Is actually?
Yeah, have a look. America's banned TikTok officially.
No way.
Yeah, but it's not happening just yet. It's like March or April or something like that. It was a couple of weeks ago.
Oh my god, I'm so disconnected
There you go.
from like this sort of stuff. Wow.
January
I've lived under a
19th.
You're kidding.
Where does it actually say? Yeah, it's like.
I know they've been threatening it, but
Oh no, they're trying to get you. They're trying to get you to sign up. You gotta, you gotta get out of that.
Nothing's free these days, is it?
No. But that's the other thing that's pretty sad as well, right? Talking about like disconnection and stuff like that. It's like the Western Australian newspaper. They're basically surviving off of subscriptions that people don't even want to pay.
Yeah.
Instead of just going to the local 7-Eleven fuel station, whatever, and going, I'm going to get the paper today. Yeah.
That's true.
So, to be heard, I thought it was official.
Oh.
19 hours ago.
Oh, so it's very recent, okay.
Yeah, it's very recent. But they said January something back there.
They said January 19.
Yeah. That's mad.
Imagine
America's
that.
Huge on it. Jeez.
340 million people, and then that one app that is owned by the Chinese just disappears from the App Store.
But then they're doing like, my friend I was mentioning before who I did the circus thing with, she's huge on TikTok. She just went over to Sydney, was it last week or the week before, for their big TikTok creators convention event, whatever it was, and it's like hugely celebrated there. It's like revered, so it's like
they have TikTok houses. Have you heard of TikTok house?
Yeah,
exactly. In America.
That's in the States.
Yeah,
that's what I mean. Like, it's massive.
Can we Google TikTok houses for people that don't know what they are?
Yeah.
Like, those things are crazy.
Exactly. Alpha House.
They're literally like frat houses, fraternity houses, but they're for TikTokers.
Yeah.
They've
so
just
that's
like changed
be
it.
Massive. Like, they're going to have to switch to another platform. There'll be another platform.
There will. Something else will just pop up.
For sure.
But that's where Facebook and Instagram really tried to actually copy everything that TikTok has done.
Yeah.
I guess you can't see photos of it, but that's it. Yeah, like you're. All right, now here we go. Oh, dude, that doesn't look cool. That doesn't look fun. That looks. It's active. It's a TikTok house and it's active.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's gonna be interesting though, and so that's all happening.
Definitely.
And I really hope that's gonna like change society a little bit, because at the end of the day, the government is kind of like they're in charge. They are the bosses, or I don't know. This is diving deep now.
Can you imagine? Like, sometimes when just. Instagram's down and everyone's like, oh my god, Instagram's not working, what do we do, how do we survive? It's like, I feel like we need to have one of those days just intentionally, like for a week every year, or like one day every month or something, just turn all the social medias off. Like, people would struggle, but it's like if we're all off it at the same time, because I know if it's not working for one person, they panic because they're like, oh my gosh, but because it's a competitive thing. Everyone's like, oh, but this person's getting the clients, oh, they're posting and I'm missing my vital posting hour, and oh, they're not going to see my post. But it's like, if it's the same for everyone, if we just put it down for every single person, and then you just have to schedule your post for the next day or the next week, but then you just have that time to disconnect and connect at the same time. Like, you just switch off from it and go, okay, today I'm going to live in the real world, and just have that day off.
If only more people would do that. But it's just, it's like, what can you do though?
Yeah.
Because they're smart. We're too far into it. We're too far into the rabbit hole. Like, take the 16-year-old thing is good.
Yeah.
And hopefully that'll be good for the next couple of generations. But at the same time, it's just the damage has already been done, really. Like, to children and this and that. But anyway, so TikTok and this and that. But where were we up to?
I don't even know. We're good at this, like, veering off into rabbit hole. I knew it was going to end up like this.
I told you, it's good, right? But then, so with the social media, because then I met you at the Brisbane Hotel. Yeah. So then what were you doing at the Brisbane Hotel, from memory?
So that was for the Brisbane Hotel. So basically they just needed someone to come in and create Instagram stories for that.
Okay.
So that's why I didn't exactly know what I was doing, because in the past I had a bit of a brief, like I'd go into hotels and say, right, I'm going to focus on the guest experience. I'm going to focus on that you've got a beautiful pool to display, and then I'll make a reel from that, whatever. But I'd never really been into like a bar situation before, and there's people rushing around, and I had to try and get content of all the other people there. Normally it's creating content of myself, like I'm on an autonomous team, or I'm with a friend and we're creating the content together, like, oh, you go in the pool, I'll get a drone shot of you jumping in or something. Whereas this was like getting photos and content of other people and trying to keep it authentic and genuine. So without necessarily like going up to people first and saying, oh, do you mind if I get a picture, because then it's posed. Sometimes obviously I did that. But it's more creating like the genuine content, I was a bit like, oh, I don't really know how this works, but
No, that's fair.
it was a learning curve. It was interesting.
But like, would you go back into it again and do something similar, like in that, like, because it was more of an excited area, wasn't it? Like, you know,
Yeah.
yeah, compared to a normal hotel. Like,
Exactly. I mean, the only reason I got that gig was just because it was through the promo page, and she just asked me if I could do that, so I just said, yeah, okay.
Oh wow. Okay. Yeah.
So yeah, I guess if something else like that popped up, I think she actually wanted someone to do it tonight, to be honest, but obviously couldn't do that.
Yeah, no, that's fair. That's
Priorities.
Fair. Yeah, priorities. Yeah.
So yeah, I think there's a few other things that do pop up like that. So maybe if it arises. But actually, talking of which, I am going to be doing that, to be honest, because when I move down south next week or whenever I'm moving, I've actually almost lined myself up at a job at a retreat centre. So it's like a retreat centre, I think they call it the Lodge, like the Lodge and Spa Retreat.
I think I know the one.
Yeah?
I'm from Busselton originally. The Lodge.
True,
I think I know that one.
Yeah,
so.
it's called the Yelling Up Lodge and Spa Retreat. So
Yeah, the
it's
Yelling
not
Up
confirmed.
Lodge. Yeah, I know that one.
Good,
yeah.
good or bad?
I've never been there, but I've driven past it multiple times, though.
Okay.
Going to the beach, so yeah.
I don't know much about it. It's not a confirmed job or anything. We were just talking on the phone the other day, so if I get it, great. If not, I'll move on to something else.
Yeah.
But yeah, they've basically just said that they want someone to do they want me to do a couple of days of front desk and reception, and because it's a small place, like they've only got a few chalets and glamping tents, they said when it's quiet we want you to do the social media, so like creating Instagram stories, making posts for the social media page. So of course that ties back into what we were saying before about having so many different jobs, skills and experiences. Like my CV is crazy, I've done all these different things, but at the end of the day it's kind of all brings it into one. So at this place it's great because I've done a few like reception jobs, front desk, checking in and out hostels and like entertainment venues, and then they want me to do social media, and of course I've got that experience. They want me to do some housekeeping. I've done housekeeping on my travels as well. They want me to teach some yoga classes, so that's perfect, and a bit of food and bev service, which is super easy and chill, and of course I've done that.
Yep.
So yeah, it kind of all ties it in nicely, so I was like, that's perfect, because it gives me a variety, but also just under the same roof.
That would be good, yeah.
And then from there I can also like expand and just start focusing on my own business as well, and bring in all the skills that I've got from everywhere else. So photography and videography, like it enables me to do my own advertising and promotion because I've got that skill set.
Yeah.
And then the social media experience allows me to obviously help with the advertising as well and understand how that all works. Obviously the yoga teaching, hosting, because on Circus Tour I used to like host and present and everything, and I did Miss World Australia when I was like 17 as well, so that they actually taught me like etiquette classes and classes in public speaking.
Did Miss World Australia?
Yeah.
Oh wow, okay.
Another one to just slide in there.
Yeah, very nice, yeah.
But yeah, that obviously taught me like confidence, public speaking, so that helps with like the hosting retreats and actually getting up in front of hundreds of people, like at these big yoga classes I've done recently, collaborations and stuff. So
because you were mentioning something that before we went live, and you said something there was like markets and like so what happened there again?
Yeah, true, the somersault markets.
Yeah.
So it's these big markets that happen down at Trig every second Saturday. I think they're every Saturday at the moment, but yeah, it's fortnightly and it's beautiful. It's down the beach, they've got these lovely markets, but then before the markets open they do a yoga class. It's usually either yoga, breath work, Pilates or something like that. But yeah, they asked me to do the yoga, and I didn't really know what to expect. Like, I'd been to it before, but years ago, and I kind of just went along. You know, my mum tailed along, bless her, as well. She was like, I'll get some content for you, I'll get some photos. So, she was running around getting some content for me. But I'm used to just doing, like, smaller, intimate classes, like maximum 20 or something, because then it's a bit more of, like, a personal, intimate experience, and it's, it just makes it a bit nicer, and I get to connect with each and every client that comes along, and I make some beautiful friendships from my yoga clients. And this, don't get me wrong, like, I love the bigger classes as well. But yeah, I wasn't expecting there to be like 200-300 people there. So I got there, I stood up the front, I brought my yoga mat and a little bit of advertising, and I looked out, I was like, oh my god, there's like 200-300 people here. Put the headset on, looked around, and when I first saw it, I think initially I was like, I'm going to be so nervous, I'm going to freak out, oh my gosh, I'm going to panic about this. But as I was doing it, I felt so comfortable, so confident, and that was probably the best yoga class I've ever taught. Even better than, I felt more comfortable than doing my smaller, more intimate ones.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
And it was so strange because, I went in thinking, oh, it's a huge class, I'm going to panic, and I enjoyed it. And I've actually got another collaboration coming up on Christmas morning. Do you know Cold Nips?
Cold Nips. Oh, yes, okay.
Yeah, so the big, like, the morning swim, they go for morning swims at 5, 6 a.m. So they've asked me to teach yoga on Christmas morning. So, Merry Christmas, everyone. Wake up at 5 a.m, come down to Scarborough Beach if you're keen.
Oh, wow. Yoga. So you're going to teach yoga at Christmas morning? Okay.
Exactly. And again, like, Cold Nips is massive. So they were saying, you know, I'm actually going tomorrow morning at 4:30 in the morning to Scarborough for their sunrise disco, silent disco sort of thing. And
was that through Shannon O'Connor, Streamline Entertainment?
Maybe.
Okay.
I don't know. They're collaborating with some DJ. Might be.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Yeah.
I assume so. But yeah, so they were saying that they're expecting to get about 800 people to that, or like hoping to get about 800 people to that. So I don't think the Christmas yoga will be that big, but you know, it still probably be a few hundred people.
Yeah.
And it's good that I've now done that other big one, so I know that I'll be comfortable and confident in teaching that. So, they got a wellness experience. Oh, I haven't heard of that.
That's one of those things where, like, during the Christmas period, it's always quiet.
Yeah.
It's always very difficult to get people out because family.
Exactly.
People are always at home with their families or travelling to see their families.
Or there's just so much going on, like everyone's, you know, there's just so much work or like last minute Christmas shopping and such. Like it's a hectic
tell me
time
about
of
it.
Yeah, there's a lot happening.
So then with a wellness retreat, so what is actually involved with a wellness retreat? What's like, what is it? How does it happen?
So I've hosted a few so far, mainly just day retreats. I've collaborated on a few overnight retreats, like down in Margaret River a couple of years ago with a few other people. But I've only really done day retreats so far, and they've been incredible. Like some of the most fulfilling days that I've ever had of my life, basically. So I did my first ones January last year. It was in Bells Rapids sort of area, Brigadoon.
Okay.
It was beautiful. It was just at this beautiful house that we had overlooking the views and the river and such. And we started off the day doing a bit of like yoga, meditation. I collaborated with a friend who's an artist, so she did an art workshop. We did an ecstatic dance, which a lot of people haven't really experienced ecstatic dance before, or they don't necessarily know what it is.
Yes, so what is that?
I like to call it a sober dance party.
Sober dance party?
Yeah. If you haven't tried it, it's amazing. And that's basically what tomorrow morning, like the Cold Nips thing, is going to be, like kind of a little bit different. But yeah, it's basically just telling people or encouraging people to step out of their comfort zone. And you know, a lot of the time people are like, oh, if I want to dance or go to a party sort of setting, it has to be at night, has to be in the dark, I have to be drunk, it has to be like certain types of music and everything. And it's like, yes, that's got a time and place for it, but also it's encouraging people that you don't necessarily need to be drunk or like on something to have a good time and dance. Like you can literally just be sober and not worry about what you look like. Everyone else is worrying so much about how they look and how they feel rather than looking at you. Like it's an internal experience. So the idea of ecstatic dance is just to put on the music and just connect to it. Just notice how you feel, just move, just allow the music to move you. And you know, sometimes it can be very like intense and hippie and a bit, people will look at it a bit like, okay, what's going on? But you know, you can also bring in like modern music and it can be fun. And the idea of it is like, if I host it, you know, I'll incorporate like a lot of tribal beats which encourage you to move, like you want to move and you feel the drum and it's just amazing. But then I'll also throw a bit of bloody ABBA in there as well, you know, to make people feel comfortable. And it's like, come on, let's go, let's all party to ABBA. So
that's cool. That's
that's why
cool.
I said to you at the thing, wasn't I, right? Play ABBA.
Yeah, and then I played it.
Yeah, exactly. Perfect.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's basically just a sober dance party, and yeah, encouraging people that they don't have to be drunk. And
well, that's a good way to do it, because like with this industry, with the nightlife and hospitality and stuff, a lot of people feel like they have to be on some sort of substance to enjoy themselves. But that's just like the disconnect from their mobile phone as well. It's like they can't be in the real world almost. Exactly. They feel like they have to be on something or doing something to just enjoy themselves. They can't just live in the moment.
And it's such a shame, like there's so much pressure around it. I remember like when I was in Exmouth last year as well, like I met this group of lovely people, like they were so open and confident, and I remember looking at, like there was this one girl in particular, I remember looking at her going, oh, she's she's got so many friends, she's so confident, she's so open, oh my gosh, like, you know, I want to be like her, sort of thing. And then we went to this duff, like a beach rave sort of thing, one night, and I wasn't drinking anything. Like, everyone there was drinking. I was there from the start of it, which was at sunset, till literally like sunrise the next morning. I was going hard. I was like the worst
fun
on the dance floor.
Yeah.
I just kept going, and everyone kept coming up to me. They're like, what are you on? What have
Yeah.
you taken? How much have you drunk? And I was like, nothing.
I'm completely
And they
sober.
were shocked.
Yeah.
And even this one girl I was mentioning, I remember she came up to me at some point. She went, how the hell do you do it? How have you not drunk anything? I cannot do that. I could not do this sober. And I remember looking at her going, that's mad, because I'd look at this girl and go like, I want to be as confident and open as her. Like, she
Yep.
looks like she's got no issues. She's so confident and like happy and content with herself.
Yeah.
And then it's interesting looking at these people and it's like, actually, there's a lot more going on than what meets the eye. Like, there's so much
I used
more
to
when
do
you
the
dive
exact same thing at Capital Nightclub. For
Yeah.
4 years, I would go there every single Saturday and like go and kind of like hang out with all the different DJs and the VIP area and do this and do that. But I'd be stone cold sober.
Yeah.
Might have one beer, but I'd be stone cold sober because I was at a workplace. And obviously, like, everyone else can drink and do this and do that, and I could, and I have. You know, I did have some nights when it's just like, yeah, why not? I'm celebrating. But the thing is, like, I didn't need to drink to have fun.
Yeah.
When you're in an atmosphere or in a world and you're just excited to be there, you don't need substances. But that's where a lot of people don't see that.
Yep. That's it. Like,
Yeah.
as soon as you find out what it is that brings you joy,
Yeah.
and like, you know, if you get the right environment, why do you need to be drunk? Why do you need to be on
Exactly.
something?
Why do you need to like have a crutch almost and like lean on something that doesn't really need to be there? Like,
Yeah.
just stand up, you're okay, you're healthy, you're alright. It's one of those things. So
And it can definitely be hard for people getting out of that, because it's like, that's what you've grown up with. Like, you're so used to that, you're so conditioned, and it's like, oh, but everyone else is drinking. I have to be drunk. I have to.
yeah, and
It's
that's
like-
where it's peer pressure, 100%
Yeah.
peer pressure.
Peer pressure.
And it's terrible.
Yeah, but it's, you know, if you find the right environment, and that's why I like incorporating these ecstatic dances, and like I'll always introduce my friends to ecstatic dance and take them along, because it's like, it's such a fulfilling experience. Everyone else, or most people there, are on the same wavelength. Like, most people are all sober and just doing the same thing as well, and they're all so focused on themselves. Like, ecstatic is more of an internal thing. Like, you can go and dance with a partner or something, but it's more of just focus on yourself. Who gives a shit about what you look like and how you're dancing? Like, just move, just have fun. Like, most of the time, if I'd seen a video of myself, I would look at that like, oh my god, I look like I'm on crack. Like, what am I? You know, like,
But you're
it's-
just having fun and just enjoying yourself in the
Exactly.
moment.
yeah. And
That's-
sometimes, like, at the start, you know, it's a bit like, oh, how do I do this? This is awkward. Like, I'm getting used to it. But then, you know, half an hour or so into it, and I can literally feel like goosebumps. I can feel the hairs rising up. I'm like, I can feel the energy shifting through my body. I am so happy right now. This is
We've
amazing.
actually talked about this on the podcast. Can we googled the goosebumps thing, where the phenomena where if you experience goosebumps from music, your brain is wired in a different way.
Really?
Yeah, have a look at this. Yeah.
Ah, okay, this is interesting.
That your body is no. There's a thing. There's a proper thing about it.
Oh, that sounds a bit obvious.
No, there's a proper thing where it's like where certain songs can actually trigger goosebumps. It's actually like the way you resonate with it. It's like the way you're built almost.
Yeah, right.
Goosebumps from look up scientific after. Or maybe that one. Maybe that
So
one.
interesting.
Let's have a
Well,
look.
it's definitely like tribal drumming beats for me, that's for sure. That's my area.
Your brain is special. That's it. Yeah.
Well, like, you know, we mentioned like the Blazing Swan. Like, I was there at the start of the year, and obviously just sober pretty much the whole time. And because they do you know much about it? Have you been?
Yeah.
You said
Quite a lot. Yeah. I've
Yeah.
never been, but I've interviewed
you've
a
had
lot
the
of people.
on.
Yeah.
But you know how they do like the big effigy burn, so they
Yeah.
have the burn night, and that was incredible. Like, my friends and I, we were all stationed right behind. They had all these drums set up, and everyone was just drumming, and we were stood right behind them. And then as the effigy burn, like the thing is happening and it's burning, everyone was just on the drums, getting into it. Everyone was just chanting and screaming, and we're just like kicking up the dust. You know, everyone's like dripping in sweat, just fully involved in the music. You know, me and my friend Lily just screaming our lungs out, drumming, dancing, just right in the middle as it's burning. It was like the most incredible feeling I've ever had in my life. We were just so into it, like I couldn't be pulled out of it.
Yeah.
And then as soon as that finished, you know, all the other lot, all the rest of my group, they're like, right, let's go back to camp. Let's have a few more drinks. Let's take whatever they were taking, and let's go back out again. And me and my friend Lily looked at each other, and we were just like, I'm good. I'm done. And it comes to that thing where it's like, is it worth going out more just for the sake of it, just because everyone else is going? Is it going to enhance my night? Is this going to make it more worthwhile? Or am I just going to get bored, drained, tired, and want to go back? Or should I just say, I've had an incredible night, I'm content with that, I'm happy, I'm going to bed? So we just went to bed after that. But that's fair, yeah. That moment was just amazing.
Sometimes people don't realise it's like, you know, you have that great moment, but that's, you need to call it then to ruin, otherwise it might ruin after, or this or that. Or
you start resenting people, like, oh, they made me go out with them later or something, where I didn't want to. It's like, no, you had the choice. You didn't have to, so.
Yeah. That's fair. You standing?
Sitting, mate.
Okay, all good.
I've been sitting all day.
No, that's fair. Sorry, I thought you were going to say something, be like, I've got something to say. So yeah, we're running out of time. We've only got like 10 minutes left, but like, where do you want where's the future going to take you?
Well,
what would you like to do?
I'm hoping that I can get this whole retreat business off the ground. As I said, like with all the experience and all the life skills I've had, like I'm hoping that I can now kind of start putting that together, which I have been doing over the last few years, like slowly building it up and putting the pieces together.
Yeah.
But yeah, my big vision is to just host retreats and, as we've said, like introduce people to more like ecstatic dance connection to themselves and connection to the land and everything.
Yep.
So yeah, I like the idea of doing more outdoor, like connected to nature retreats, not necessarily like fully camping or something, but yeah, with a focus on the natural world, natural cycles, rhythms and everything. But yeah, I want to incorporate obviously like yoga. I do a bit of sound, like the sound bowls and sound baths. So yeah, yoga, sound. I do want to dive more into breath work as well. Definitely into breath work.
Apparently it's really good. I'm telling you, it's important.
It's a big business at the moment. It's definitely growing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to do all that, ecstatic dance. Incorporate photography into it as well, because that's a big thing. Like my big theme for this year, I actually found this through a shroom trip at the start of the year.
Very nice.
My big don't know if we can talk about that on the podcast, but
yeah, here I am thinking you're innocent.
I mean, it is innocent. I do it in a good holistic way.
No, that's fair. That's fair.
But yeah, I got this big download of like, you are the oracle, and about like knowing my self-worth and knowing my boundaries, my values and everything. And it's crazy because that's the big vision I got. And as soon as I came out of that, I picked up an oracle card, and on it literally said, you are the oracle. Like that's what it said. And there's so many times in this year when I've thought about that moment, picked an oracle card, that whole message has come back up again. So it's fate.
That's scary.
Exactly. It's actually like made me shake. I was like, why does this keep coming up at those exact
every card
moments?
It just says, every card says you are the oracle.
Yeah, so it's like, that's obviously the sign for this year. And you know, I've just completed it, still doing like a year of celibacy as well, and you know, really focusing on my values and knowing my worth, my value and everything. So yeah, my biggest thing is just encouraging other people to step into that as well, which is why I've started hosting sister circles, like to bring together women of Perth to really just get connected with each other, form friendships, have that feminine energy and sister support basically for everyone. So yeah, and obviously like I'll do retreats the males can come to as well. It's not just a feminine thing, like it's open to everyone.
That's fair.
But yeah, the idea is just to really allow people to know their self-worth, their values, and just really connect a lot more to themselves rather than just being so disconnected to society. Really start to listen to their bodies, be in tune with it, rather than just rushing through like, oh, I need to do this and then go to work and just living on autopilot.
Yeah.
So yeah, like yoga, sound, breath work, that's where I was going with it. Photography. I want to bring my photography skills into it and start offering like photo shoots. So to show people that, you know, they can step into their power and just showing them how, like, the beauty of themselves. So yeah, incorporate photography into it. Incorporate like ecstatic dance, food, obviously. What else do I have in there? Just collaborations with other artists and other forms of modalities like clay, pottery workshops, and just as much as I can, really.
Very cool stuff.
Yeah, that's the idea, is just to bring it together and start here. Like I definitely want to do a retreat up in Exmouth. I feel as though I'm so called to Exmouth. Like there's so much healing that I did up in Exmouth last year. It's just a very strong energy for me. So yeah, I really want to do a retreat there and just start taking it internationally at some point as well. Like I've seen beautiful retreat centres around the world that I've pinpointed. So yeah, that's
you do travel, you should definitely come back on here. Like, I want to get you back on here anyway. But like, if you start traveling around the world, like
100%.
That would be amazing to talk about all the retreats that you'd be starting up and stuff. So
let me know, or when it started happening, I'll come back. And like you said, the other band that you were talking about, who at the start. How they came back later and they're...
Rah Rah Viper Band.
Oh,
yeah.
sorry, you had them, and
that's
then
it.
now looking at
that's
where
it.
they've gone, so...
Yeah, it's like we got them on like their 4th or 5th gig ever.
I'm manifesting that same energy for me in my retreat, so...
And then just like, you know, next year, 2 years, and you're running 5 retreats around the world, potentially.
It's the dream.
Yeah, you never know.
So, yeah.
But thank you so much for coming on, though. This has been good.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I told you, right? It's been relaxed, fun, it's good. Yeah.
Again, it was fate that I did that social media gig at the hotel, the pub. So,
that's it. Yeah,
it was good. That 20-second conversation we had. Yep, we're doing a podcast.
Yeah, that's it. I was just like,
Talk to you
hi, you're doing social media. You want to come on a podcast?
Why not? That's it. Pays to say yes to things. So.
It does, yeah. Sometimes. Yeah.
Oh, exactly, to a degree. Boundaries.
But thank you so much, Mel. This has been good. This has been good. And this is season 3 wrapping up.
Oh.
So, yeah.
We're out.
We're going to start January 8th, I think it is, or 10th or 12th, or I don't know when we're going to start back up. I do, but let me just pull it up. Just give me a second. I'll pull up my calendar now. All right. We are going to start back up on the 9th of January. And I think we have the Your Short runner-up DJ coming on, I'm pretty sure. Which is, it's like...
the DJ competition, wasn't it?
Yeah, the DJ competition,
I don't know why I know that.
But yeah, so they're going to come on. I'm going to talk about a bit about music and a bit about this and a bit about that, New Year's, and we'll go from there. We'll start up season 4 of the podcast.
Love it.
Which is going to be very exciting. But yeah, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
This has been a very chilled, good last episode for the year.
I feel like we can just keep chatting about all this stuff forever. So many rabbit holes.
Oh, believe me, like we've had some episodes where we just kept going and going and going.
But I'm gonna be up at like 4 a.m, so we cannot keep going.
No, that's it. Yeah.
Sunrise disco. So next time when I've got my 5 retreats, we'll continue the chat.
Yeah, no, that sounds great. That sounds good. All right, we'll see you guys next year. Thank you so much for watching, being part of this community. Thank you, Jasper. Thank you, Blake. Thank you, Kieran. Wherever you are in the ether, you guys are incredible. Without this, I would not be able to do this with you guys. Well, without you guys, I need you guys. Stick by me.
Need you too.
Oh, Jasper needs me. Blake,
I figured out where the
do you need
cameras
me?
were. I didn't even realise they were.
Oh yeah, just the webcams that we use.
Oh gosh.
There.
There they are.
All right. Okay, we will see you guys not next week. We'll see you guys next year. But thank you. Cheers. Have fun. Are we still going? Is the camera still going?